Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. Happy Friday to everyone out there. We've got the ongoing story here. The hoax heard round Bachelor Nation. A Bachelor alumni, Josh Seiter, had a death hoax posted on his Instagram page. He claims his account was hacked, but he's getting called out and he's getting cross-examined by lawyers like the head of TMZ and also by others like Bachelor Nation's Ashley I, who does a pretty good job with her podcast. I knew this was going to be a good episode we're about to play because Jared was a co-host. He does a fantastic job. No offense to Ben Higgins out there, but I think Ashley and Jared have a good mix of sort of commentary regarding this topic. Now, some people are upset with them for giving the platform to Josh, who a lot of people are saying was behind the hoax. Now, why would someone post a death hoax about themselves? Well, recently, as we reported, Lil Tay, a famous influencer, had a death hoax posted on her page, and no one thinks that she did it, but could this have been some sort of copycat thing that went down? We're going to get to it all. We're going to play the different clips from the Almost Famous podcast. We've got the first one right here. Plus, I'm going to play Shawn Booth reacting to the news when he found out that it wasn't an actual death, that it was a hoax. And then I'm going to share a moment where Josh has actually contradicted himself regarding this topic. So it's a sensitive topic to discuss because the second you call BS on whether or not it's an actual hacking versus something he did to drum up PR for himself and his brand, the second you call it out, people go, oh, you're not an advocate for mental health. No, and anyone knows we have a long record here for pursuing the conversation around mental health, but at the same time, it doesn't stop from a lot of the glaringly fishy smelling things that are going on here. Here's a clip from Josh Seiter on the Almost Famous podcast.
So let's talk about your Instagram getting hacked.
My phone starts going off with just hundreds of text messages and it's ringing off the hook while I'm trying to log in. People started sending me screenshots of something that had been posted on my page and I was like, oh man.
But I heard that you didn't even file a report with Instagram. Why would you think not to do that?
I'm assuming you're working on trying to figure out who hacked your account, but what do you think the motive was behind this?
Now that the storm is kind of passing, I'm definitely doing a lot better.
So there's your teaser clip. I've got several clips of that podcast I'm going to share with you. But first, here's a moment where he, and audience members have begun to see him contradicting himself. Here's his initial statement, which of course has the comments turned off. 20 hours after getting hacked, after TMZ ran with the story, after he says, all of his friends and family were messaging him. People were sobbing and crying, wondering if he had killed himself. 20 hours later, which means in that 20-hour... imagine how long 20 hours is. This is going to be a 14-minute video. It's going to feel like more than that. And it makes you wonder, no one went into the comment sections. No one went in to say, oh, he's alive. This is just... No quick statement. He waited until there was the opportune moment to make his grand re-entrance. At least that's what he's alleged.
And I'm sorry for all the pain they caused when they made that post. I just got back into my account. I am going to do all I can with my team to try to identify who is behind this.
I'm going to try all that I can do with my team to identify who is behind this. Now here he is on TMZ.
At least in my mind, I'm not famous. I don't have a team that puts out statements or, knows how to do stuff like that. I was at home.
All right, so what is it? Do you have a team or not? He says he's going to get behind it with his team, and then he says he doesn't have a team that puts out statements. Maybe he's got a team that does forensic work but doesn't put out statements. Maybe his team is actually a investigative journalist. It's already starting to go, okay, which is it? Are we famous? Are we not famous? Do you have a team? Do you not have a team? I hate that people have to cross-examine him this way, but they do. So here's, of course, and again, and it goes on with the guys over at TMZ actually questioning, saying, we called you, your phone was off, we tried multiple times, we called your family members, and people said they didn't want to comment. No one wanted to confirm your death.
The puzzling part for us, I'll kind of let you in on our process here, because I know we had left and we had called you, and you eventually called back
yesterday, yeah.
But we had also called some family members because we wanted to, confirm what we had seen. And they would not tell us that. And we were basically saying, look, there's a post saying he's dead. And they said, we're not going to comment on it. which was weird to us.
Hung up, or just hung up.
Or hung up.
So they do a very good job here at the 30-mile zone of being delicately calling him out and saying, look, I mean, because look, you hate him or not, smut or not, TMZ is that it is journalism. They probably do better journalism than a lot of other people out there. And this is the second time that they've been, sort of duped by a death hoax. Not to say every other outlet wasn't picking it up as well. And others have said, why don't you get a source when someone posts that there's a death statement? This is new territory, folks. No one ever needed a source when there's a death statement posted on someone's personal Instagram. You know what I mean? That's kind of a general consensus that you believe that, because again, what's the incentive for anyone to lie? Like, who's posting a death statement on his Instagram? They're not getting any monetary thing out of it. They're not getting any social change out of it. There's really nothing going on. Even if they're a hater of Josh's, by posting a death statement, they're only going to make him rise up and be some sort of martyr, So either way, here's Shawn Booth learning for the first time about the death hoax. He was going on extra to discuss mental health after hearing that he had passed away.
He just posted a video saying that he was hacked. He is alive. Shawn, if you're hearing this straight as we're learning it as well, can I get your reaction to that?
I mean, that's great news, obviously.
So he goes, that's good news, obviously. And even after all of that, of course, there's no implication here by Shawn that it was something Josh. Because at first, you remember my first video, no one assumed there was any nefarious thing going on. Of course, more information came out, information I've seen on the behind the scenes level from people going, oh yeah, this is stuff he does all the time. And, the death statement was in his writing style, all of these different accusations.
You're struggling, especially for men, which men have a real big sense of pride. They don't want to talk about it potentially. And men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide. So it's okay for everybody to talk about it. There's so much support out there. There's so much love out there for everybody. And, for people in the world to make a sick joke like this is just disgusting.
And this is why a lot of people are upset at Josh, because they do feel like they led with compassion for him and feel like they've sort of been duped or hoodwinked here. So we're going to get to some of the clips from Josh talking on the Almost Famous podcast. Again, a lot of audience members are really upset that Ben and Ashley, although it was Jared and Ashley, would even have Josh on to share his story, because they're sort of giving the platform to somebody who a lot of fans think was abusing, a fake death hoax to get attention.
Time, like you mentioned. And so for the next 5 years, I just continued doing that and working at my craft of dancing at the time. And then I transitioned out of that in about 2017. And I started blogging on Instagram about mental health. I didn't have a following at the time, maybe like 1,000 followers or something. And over time built that up to where it's at now, almost 500,000. And I think what I do has resonated with a lot of people. A lot of people can relate to my story. And so I've really been just focused on that. I also do have an OnlyFans that I started in 2018 that for some reason, I don't know why, is successful. And
so he plugs his OnlyFans in the first 5 minutes of the channel. And look, I don't blame him for telling his story. It's just, it's kind of a tough thing to talk about, because clearly he does suffer from mental health issues. He's telling us that. And at the same time, would it be the most, outlandish thought to think that someone suffering from mental health issues might consider their own death hoax, knowing there's really no way to call him out on it? Other than maybe, getting Instagram involved. I've always said the only way to find out is if Instagram releases a statement and says, we looked into it, nobody logged into his account was not hacked. Like, unless you can provide that proof that the IP address was in the house, the killer's upstairs, we just won't know. So I'm going to share 2 different clips with you guys. He kind of goes on this interesting tirade where he says, we live in Trump's America where people don't want to believe mental health. And just to reiterate, we are pro mental health awareness. We are pro people getting the help they deserve. I think with that said, that this is the delicate way you handle this conversation, to say a lot of people, including myself, don't necessarily believe him. That's all. Not going to throw hate at him, not going to send any mean comments to him, not going to do anything else about it. Smell that? I don't buy it. I just don't buy the story. Most of you agree. Some people will buy his story. You just hope in the future that people have enough credibility that you believe them when they do have an incident like this.
So you say that it was hacked on Monday, and
can you just tell us the story? Like, what happened?
Yeah, so I was trying to log into my account on Monday. I couldn't log into it, which is weird because normally click the, I have an iPhone. I click the Instagram icon on my iPhone and I'm automatically taken to my profile. And I was asking me to log in manually, and I thought that was weird. So I'm trying to do it. It's not working. I'm trying to remember my password, and I'm like, God, I can't really remember my password, but I think this is it. And then at the same time, like a short time later, my phone starts going off with just hundreds of text messages, and it's ringing off the hook while I'm trying to log in. And I'm like, something's weird. Like, I have a feeling this is all connected. And so anyways, people started sending me screenshots of something that had been posted on my page. And I was like, oh man, so someone's either playing a prank or someone got in it. I didn't know what was going on.
I just think if you're getting tons of messages from people, you make a quick statement and you take a selfie video and you just say, hey, I'm Josh Seiter and I'm actually alive. My account's hacked. And you send that to different people, and the story immediately goes away. It immediately, because it's one thing if some random person on Reddit goes, oh no, he's alive. Oh yeah, sure, buddy. But for him to be like, hey guys, it's January 3rd, whatever the year is, 2025, and then you just immediately send that out to people. And I know hindsight's 2020, but if you're worried about your friends and family being heartbroken, being crushed, being emotional, I mean, it can be very dangerous if someone in your family dies, you don't want to get on the road and drive. You can't operate a vehicle. It can spur people having a heart attack. I mean, crazy things can happen that if the first thing you would want to do is let every single person I'm alive.
So it was from the time it happened until I got back into my account, it was 18 hours. Obviously I slept some during that time. So I spent about 9 or 10 hours frantically trying to get back into my account.
And again, my only thing, if you did want to perpetuate this hoax, I think the only smart, and again, this is a twisted way of thinking, but the only smart way to do it is go on like an around the world flight. Like the only place you can be is either on a flight or camping somewhere where you don't have internet service. And then you come back and find out there was a death hoax while I was camping, which again would look super suspicious, but at the same time, at least you could say you weren't near your phone. He's actively admitting he was on his phone and still didn't get the message out that he was quote unquote hacked, which of course is the reason why nobody believes his story.
It's reality TV, mental health, Josh Seiter, hacking, death, life. So it's kind of gonna get people from all sides of the aisle. So I think there's some people with some legitimate concerns. I've been trying to answer all of the questions that I can. I wasn't the hacker, so I can't answer. I can only answer questions as Josh Seiter. I was also a victim of this.
Please, somebody who works at Instagram, can you let us know if his account was hacked or not? Apparently, he was asked, why didn't you report this? And how did he get his account back so fast if he never reported it was hacked in the first place? I had someone message me yesterday saying their mom's account on Facebook got hacked, and they were asking if I knew anybody that they could talk to get back in. It's like, it's not easy to get your account back once it's been hacked. So to think that someone hacked it and then just gave him his account back after, I'm glad he's talking because it feels like he's almost incriminating himself even further. And respectfully, I think there's enough technical knowledge out there. If you're Instagram, please, if you're Instagram, get us to the truth here, because I know you wouldn't want to feel like your company has lost credibility because someone was so easily hacked. I know TMZ is probably looking into it because let me tell you something. TMZ is like the mob. You don't want to mess with TMZ. If they can prove that Josh was behind it, it takes the heat off of them for posting a wrong story.
But I've tried to do my best. I can't. All I can do is speak the truth, and the truth is I wasn't behind it, and people can either choose to believe it or not.
I don't.
Like I said earlier, you can't please everybody, and I don't really care if people don't believe me, and I really don't care if people hate me. It just doesn't affect me or my happiness. So all I can do is speak the truth. And if they believe me and believe the truth, great. And if they don't, I don't care. It's not going to affect my life. So
what has your mental state been over the past 48 hours?
So it's been definitely better now. I mean, I was having panic. Anytime there's a spike in my anxiety, I kind of have panic attacks.
And all I can say is we wish him well. That's all I can say. I did miss the part where he commented on sort of blaming. He kind of had this bulletproof defense where he was like, we live in a world where no one wants to believe others. And it's like, well, no, I think we want to believe people. We just don't believe you.
We have seen a lot of headlines about you over the past couple days. So how do you respond to those people who are thinking that this has not been a legitimate hacking?
Yeah, I think those are all legitimate things to allege and to say. I think there's legitimate detractors out there. And it's just it's a fire rod issue on so many levels. It's reality TV, mental health, Josh Seiter, hacking.
Okay, so it goes on and on and on. It doesn't really add up to me. That's all I can say. There's no shame coming from me to anyone with any mental health issues. It's in the off chance that that Josh is the victim of this hoax, it would suck. And if I were him, I would really try to get down to the truth and find out where the hacking took place. My guess is we're not going to see that happen because that person doesn't exist. That's my guess. Respectfully, I encourage everybody to not DM him and share any hate. Let's just do positive things and uplift the world. Call your mothers out there, everybody. All right, I'll be back with more content right after this.